Hey gang, it's 4:23, Sunday, May 27. I'm about to do a documentary, and that is about it. So here we go. We call him Big Man, and Big Man of the house. That's my roommate, and he's just gonna tell his story.
All right, based on my story, I'm gonna give you guys a little briefing of my life. I'm gonna give you the beginning, the middle, and I'm gonna give you the end of my life. Whereas, how I started out and how I ended up being in the situation I'm in now. At the age of 16, my mom passed away. I was selling marijuana. I sold a lot of it. I have 3 sisters. One of my sisters lives out of state. My other sister lives out of state, and it was just me and my little sister. I had to fend for myself. And not just for myself, I had to fend for my sister too, so I had to take care of her. I sold drugs for 2 years, marijuana. I capitalized, I made pretty good money. I went to jail. I have a daughter. I had a daughter in between, and I have a son in between, which is a long story. That's a long story there. But I went to jail. I did my first 6 months for marijuana. I got out. My whole life changed to a new era because the drug trade changed from marijuana to cocaine. At the age of 18 years old, my whole life switched over to the cocaine trade. I sold cocaine for many years afterwards. It wasn't like I was a kingpin or I built this big empire. No, that never happened. I ain't gonna sit here and give you guys a lie and tell you guys some bullshit. I did well. I had whatever I wanted. I did whatever I wanted. I had women, I had cars. I ain't gonna say I had houses, because I did have one house. I took care of my child. Let alone taking care of myself, I took care of my kid. I made sure she was my main priority. She got whatever she wanted as a young age. At the age of 21, I caught my first cocaine charge and did 5 years. Did 5 years. 562 grams. I guess if you know what that means in cocaine terms, you know what it was. So I did 5 years for that. I got out. Things still changed. There was a new era. From the younger adults and me, the younger adults took over from where I was at. So getting out of prison and thinking that you can do the same thing at the same time, thinking that things have not changed, it has changed. Because now it's the younger adults carrying guns. You're not carrying a gun. You can't go back to the same hood thinking that you can do the same thing as it was before because it changed. Me, myself, thought I could do that. I went back to the same hood. A couple weeks into the game, I got stabbed. I got shot at. I got into fights with the neighborhood, put it like that. Got into a lot of fights because I was kind of like stepping on their toes, trying to take their money, thinking that it was my money and I'm coming back to get it. And it doesn't work like that. So, there's an ice cream truck. Anybody want any ice cream? Anyways.
No, because we're on welfare.
But anyways, long story short, I got out of prison. Like I said, I got back into the game. I thought I can get back from where I left off at and do the same thing when it wasn't that easy. Some of my family members was in the game. They pulled me right back in the game. And they told me certain things about the game because it was new. It was all about guns this time. Everybody had to carry a gun because you got to remember, the young kids is a new era. Most of them are crack babies. So now they're on stick-ups. They're trying to rob everybody. So you have to be in the same, you have to fit yourself in the same level or there. So you have to stoop down a little bit. So you basically have to carry a gun and be a stick-up kid yourself. As it goes. I sold more drugs, and I was getting pretty big. And then I got caught up again. I sold to a Fed. I got 7 years. Added from the state time and Fed time is totally different. It's totally different. I did my Fed time. I got out. I didn't sell drugs for 3 or 4 years by the time I got out, and I moved out of state. I moved to a different state. Laws were different. People were different. Atmosphere was different. People were slower. I'm a city boy. I wasn't known. You gotta remember, I'm an African American, so I moved to an all Caucasian town. I'm like a needle in a haystack. I'm just a dot on a baseball, if you look at it. I started up again. But when I started up, I was more so dealing with my girlfriend because she was Caucasian. And I plugged her into it, and she knew people that knew people, so I was happy. Things were even better. It was better than when I first started out before. I moved to a town called Greenfield, Massachusetts, and I sold drugs there for 6, 7 years. Never got caught. One day, I was coming across the bridge in Greenfield, just coming back from New York, and it got rolled on. Got rolled on. It's like I was told on, but I don't even think somebody snitched on me. I think they've been watching me all along because I was a black guy. So I was like being watched. They hit me up. They found 2 ounces of marijuana, 3 ounces of crack cocaine. Now there's a difference in crack cocaine and cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine, if it's not manufactured, you get less time. Once it's manufactured and processed with baking soda and water, you get more time. That means that you took the time out to cook something up, make it yourself, and turn it into something and alter it from one thing, one substance to another. And I got 3 years. They tried to give me more time than that because I did Fed time for the same substance. But I had a good lawyer and I got 3 years for it. That's the middle. Now I'm going to tell you the ending. I had a small business, Reflections Window Cleaning Services.
We continuing.
We continuing the situation. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Bob. I'm just going to start over where I was at. Where, I started a small business when I got out of prison called Reflections Window Cleaning. And I started off in Greenfield, Massachusetts. Everything's been going well with that. But I met a girl online, and I moved out here to New York. And why did I do that? I really don't have an answer for you. But I moved out here, and I go back and forth to Massachusetts every 2 weeks to work. I decided, I met her, I lived with her for a few months, and I decided to be on my own. Like I said, I don't know why I moved out here, and I still don't have a clue why, because I've always had my own. The biggest thing is why I'm here. I decided not to live with her anymore. So, living here in Long Island, if you ever knew of Long Island, the rent out here is highly expensive. This is one of the most profitable states in the most expensive rent places you can ever rent a house or whatever. So I decided to go over to DSS and see what they can do social services. I told my girlfriend I didn't want to stay there no more, so when I went to DSS, they said you go to a shelter. I went to a shelter called Pat Christie's, and I was there for 3 days. And once being there at Pat Christie's,
You're filming, man. Sorry for the interruption again.
Wait, Artie, grab if you grab a pack of cheese, yellow cheese. Buy it. I went to Pat Christie's. I stayed there for 3 days. It was a situation where I've never been homeless ever in my life before, but I wanted to get out and get my own and be on my own and do what I have to do for myself. So being at Pat Christie's, it showed me another side of my life, where it could be as of being homeless, where it should be as of being homeless, and how it could be. I watched people, I seen some younger adults being homeless, and it gave me an incentive to push forward. If you ever watched the movie, they had a movie called Pay It Forward. It's an awesome movie, check it out. That's my whole motto of this whole introduction right here, is paying it forward, paying your life forward, moving forward in life instead of going backwards. There was a female counselor there. She gave me a sheet of paper, and like she said to me, she said, you shouldn't even be here. I read off a couple names. I called the place. There was this place here in Wyandanch, New York. Slumlord, honestly. Place wasn't up to my par. Something that I was never ever used to living in, but you gotta think about it. Sometimes you have to start from the bottom up like a baby. And that's something that I did, because all of this, even as of today, is a learning process for me. As a growing process. Watching and seeing people at their worst and at their best. And right now I'm in a house with a couple fellas. I'm here with 6 guys, pretty decent guys, you know, but it's not the best living conditions. So I'm trying to pay it forward. I'm trying to get away from here and get my own again and be out on my own. Even though this is like being on your own, because it's like a magical place, it's like college, but you really want to be out on your own. And sometimes when you're in life and you have to step back and look at yourself sometimes, these are places where you end up at to see your life and how it can transpire and help others. And with that being said, thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate it. My name is Melvin Jones. Documentary, if you want to look at my webpage, www.jones.melvin68@yahoo.com. Hit me up. Take care.
All right.